Hello everybody and welcome back to NeweggTV. I'm Steve and today I'm going to do an overview on this N900 wireless cloud router from EnGenius. Alright guys, here's a brief look at the front of the box. This model, being the ESR900 from EnGenius, is a cloud router. And now they have a couple other cloud routers available in this series, the ESR900, 350, and the ESR900. Something to keep in mind if you want to have a little bit less speed but the same quality and probably just a little bit cheaper. Just to keep that in mind. Aside from that, what's so great about a cloud router? Well, essentially it's using their software called EnShare, and basically what it's doing is allowing you to A, manage your router, but also B, share your different videos, photos, or anything else basically to a storage port on the side, a USB port I should say, but you're going to have to provide the USB storage, whether that is a flash drive or a hard drive. No big deal there, but it's something to keep in mind. Let's say you have your Apple device at home and you want to get a little bit more storage out of it or access to things on the fly somewhere else in the world. You could do that with this device. Android, they basically have enough storage because they have mini SD cards, but it would allow them to have cloud storage anywhere in the world. It's also very nice. In terms of that, you can see there's many happy people on the back of the box here downloading their movies and streaming their TV content or remotely monitoring their network. You can do all of that with this router. I want to mention one last thing on the side of the box here, a little bit about technical specifications and minimum requirements. You guys can read most of this on your own time, but you can see here it's compliant with 802.11 A, B, G, and N. Moving right along the speed, you're looking at 450 megabits per second in the 2.4 gigahertz range and 450 in the 5 gigahertz range. There are 4 ports of Gigabit Ethernet connectivity on the back, and of course that USB port. But I'll let you read that in your own time. Let's move right along. Alright, so I wanted to talk to you guys about what comes inside the box. We do get a little bit of paperwork. Here's the quick start guide. I'm going to open that up real quick just to give you an idea of what's inside. You can see here it's just pretty standard, a little bit of pictograms providing information on where and what to do in terms of installation. They also provide for you the EnShare pamphlet that actually shows you how to enable or disable EnShare, which allows you to, of course, share your media to all of your different devices via cloud storage, your own personal cloud. We'll go into some connectivity with that just in a little bit. Here's some of the hardware that you're going to need in order to connect this router to a ceiling or maybe a wall somewhere. It's got a couple anchors too if you have drywall. Very nice. An Ethernet cable. It's fairly short, but as long as you do everything properly, you should be able to wire that just right in your household for network connectivity. Then we have an AC adapter, pretty standard here, providing power for the router. And finally, onto the router itself. Here is the EnGenius ESR900 in all of its white and almost bronze goldy glory. It's actually a very nice router, very small. It reminds me of a smoke detector, as do most of the EnGenius routers that are this hockey puck style look. It's sort of low profile for a ceiling and it doesn't look strange up there. It would just kind of blend in, I would assume. Looking at the bottom here, we have some LED lights letting you know about connectivity. 5 gigahertz and 2.4 gigahertz wireless connectivity LEDs here, power LED, internet connectivity LED or WAN, and as well as WPS. Now if I bring this around to the side and show you the USB port here, and that's where you're going to be doing all of your sharing. Of course, if you're hanging this from the ceiling, you're probably going to want to use a USB flash drive, not a USB hard drive, but you guys will figure out some funny way to do it. There's a WPS button here for connectivity. And on the back of the router, you can actually see all of the different ports here. These are all Gigabit ports, so that's fantastic, right? So you have 4 of them that are LAN, 1 of them that is a WAN, as well as DCN for the power, and a reset button in case you need to reset this thing back to defaults. On the very bottom, a bunch more information, as well as the anchor points for this router. And if we look down here, we have the 2.4 as well as 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi SSD names, as well as passwords, WPS PIN, and the actual DDNS domain name here, where it already comes preset with it. This is great. You basically don't have to worry about it. It'll be a series of letters and numbers. I think it's EnGenius DDNS.com. Also a DDNS QR code here, so if you don't want to type things in, you could just click that on your phone or mobile device and go right into it, as well as the MAC address. All right, guys, so here's a quick look at the GUI. Some things you want to keep in mind when you're getting connected is that it actually propagates its own DNS name for anything you go to will be forced to forward to 192.168.0.1 port 8080, which is what you're going to need to administer the router. Something to keep in mind in case you're worried about not knowing which IP address to put into. That is, of course, if you set up your systems to use the DNS that would be the default DNS, which is whatever the router would be. Moving right along, you can use the wizard here, which we're going to do just to show you, or you can jump straight into the network settings themselves and skip over that. So I'm just going to hit next. The router is actually going to automatically scan for my internet connection type, and we'll wait for that to finish. So it knows it just needs to find a dynamic IP, and we're going to move forward with that. I can give it a host name if I want to, or change the MAC address, even clone it from my own system. Moving right along. We can change the SSID, what we're using for encryption, which I'm assuming is dependent on the encryption key length. And then we can set up a new password. I'm going to leave it default. You should not do that at home. You should definitely set up your own. And see, it even tells me I can't set it up. So let's try something easy. Let's make sure it matches. We're going to let that restart. All right, and now we're back. It's already done resetting it. It's going to do a step 3, which is checking the status and saving all the settings. And in fact, we can actually set up the domain name here. This is the standard one that it starts out as, but we're going to change that to something else. I guess I could call it Newegg, but we can even change that later too. So we're going to save it and let that finish. All right, so we've connected in and finally gotten everything reset with some basic settings here. Here at the home screen, just showing me what's actually connected and what's on and what's off. I've connected in my phone. I also have the device here, our Ipv6 system. Go ahead and go into this is the wizard you just noticed a moment ago. We'll go through the actual settings here. Basic system tab, giving you all the information kind of at a glance, and I'm just going to go through this like really quickly, both to give you guys an idea of what's here and also to give you an idea of how the GUI operates. And you can see it's really clean. It's moving very quickly. I'll go through. Here's 2.4 gigahertz wireless on the basic side. Click over to the advanced side. See a couple more things: security and setting up filters for access, WPS and the current client lists. 5 gigahertz, same options, parental controls, setting up a wizard or a web monitor if you needed to do something like that, making sure your kids are on the internet when they're supposed to be, or maybe more importantly, off the internet when they're supposed to be. The guest network, whether it's enabled or not, that's great if you want to end up keeping your files separate from being able to access those files, I should say. So file access important for you and maybe not for your guests. IPv6 connectivity too, and the different settings that are here. Jump down to the firewall. It is an SPI firewall, which is nice. It's a little better than just having a standard NAT be a firewall. VPN. Go down the list here and show you guys that. Of course, a wizard will walk you through it as well. Here's EnShare. This is fairly nice. This is that remote access that I have enabled, and I can set that up for a custom DNS name so you can connect outside the house. Connect in and check those different settings, or maybe download some files or upload some pictures and free up your phone a little bit if you're out in Florida vacationing or somewhere else nice. You can set up a guest account as well, and it's also DLNA compatible too, so it's going to be a DLNA server on your household and anything that's connected to that to this router. Of course, the advanced settings going down the list here for NAT, port mapping, port forwarding, triggering, ALG, UPnP, IGMP settings, QoS, and how you set up a static routing here or a routing table in general, and wake on LAN settings here as well. A couple more things here in tools. Standard for the login for an admin and setting up the password for that. Moving right along here, we have DDNS. That's where I set up the Newegg one, and the time setup where it will just sync with your computer directly, or you can have it sync with time servers too, and NIST, I believe it is. And if you want to do some diagnostics to make sure that it's pinging the things, making sure you have internet connectivity, updating the firmware. We did have a firmware update. I recently updated that. Back up your settings here, restore it back to defaults. and you can completely reset it here. All right, so I wanted to show you how I've set this up. I'm using a 16 gigabyte USB stick from Patriot Memory. Thank you very much for that, Patriot. And I, of course, have my handy dandy iPhone here to show you the app. Of course, that app is going to work on multiple devices, Android as well as iOS devices. But let's move right along because this is really all about the EnShare app. So I'm here at the login screen. All I'm going to do is type in the information and click login. Let me just click that. Actually, clicking the login button helps. And it kind of separates things into music, video, photo, and documents. And it basically takes the items that are already on that USB stick and preloads them into the proper folders that they should be in here. I don't have any music in there, but I do have a video in there. Let me go ahead and take that. It's a capture I did earlier with Paul. Let me move that out of the way.
Across the street here, there's actually a studio across the street.
Comes in really, really crisp, actually. I was very happy with that. Let me flip that back around again. And we'll go backwards. Of course, I can scrub through that too if I wanted to, or adjust the video. I could edit them and get rid of the videos if I wanted to. If I could just hit edit. As well as being able to download it or share it with others by giving them a link, rename it, or straight up just delete it. Or search if I had tons of other videos, which is also very nice. Some photos in here too as well. These are just some slides that I had from a Yoked episode from a while ago. I think we have a document in here too. That's Jenny's Yoke Stories, so for our teleprompter. And let's see, what else can I see here? And you can make a specific photo collection so that if you wanted to upload them straight from my photo album, you could do so. Status is going to tell you what's currently available that should be uploaded or starting to upload. Router, that's where you can get into the actual router settings itself. We can set up the different information here or check it just to make sure everything's set, as well as what's currently being uploaded and downloaded through that system. Wireless settings, client manager, and advanced settings where you can back up or clean the cache apparently too. That's fairly interesting. Let's see, for clients currently connected to the Bitphoenix system and my phone. So that's actually pretty cool. You can get a lot of information just from this app itself. Okay, everybody, that's going to wrap up this overview of the ESR900 from EnGenius. And if you liked what you saw today, don't forget to click the like button. And if you haven't already done so, click subscribe to any of our various YouTube channels. We have 3 of them. They're amazing. Lifestyle, which is the one you're probably seeing this on now, Newegg Arcade, as well as Newegg TV. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.